Welcome to FMA Discussion. This is episode 230, and tonight we are featuring Guro Archie of Canada. And I'm excited for this one. Just doing the test run with him. He said a lot of things that really resonated with me. I like how his approach and all that. So we're going to cover his pre-FMA journey through FMA, and then we're going to see how he incorporates his gun training. And we're going to cover all that and see what he's got planned for future goals and what have you, and all that. So if you're just jumping in, please tell us where you're watching from. Smash that like button, and we are just getting started. So I want to thank you. I appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Sorry for the delay, and I'm finally here.
Yeah, we're pretty flexible here. So
yeah.
I'm glad.
But I just missed that stint you had. You had like quite a stretch of KI guys, and I was supposed to be a part of it.
Sometimes things happen, and it's not with intention. It's the scheduling just so happens to work out that way. That's
got to roll with the punches these days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And but we profess here, and we stick to our model and our mission statement. We're willing to, if you want to come on the show, we don't care about like your popularity or where you stand. I mean, like some of our best guests were guys that are not big names, but they're doing just incredible things, or maybe they don't want to be in the spotlight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the ones that really don't want to be in the spotlight are usually the real deal. So, in my sort of experience, they
know they don't need to.
Such as the current grandmaster of our system of KI, Master Tommy D. Tang. He's
perfect example. My God.
Yeah. But what an incredible talent. And whenever, if anyone's ever lucky to catch a seminar or do some personal training with him, go for it. A good friend of mine from Maryland is a former SWAT officer, actually a commander, and he trains with Master Tom as much as he.
That's the guy in Maryland. I was always wondering who is the guy in Maryland.
Yeah, so that's him. I won't mention names because he's
no. But
I'm not sure if he wants his name mentioned.
But fair enough. But they haven't gone down there because I was in touch with KC. I said, look, when you guys go back down there, please let me know. I would definitely go to Maryland. But they haven't been down there in the last few years for good reason.
Yeah, with everything going on, with the borders being closed, but if you ever get a chance to, I think he'll rock your world. That's for sure.
Is that guy in Maryland? Is he official rep of them?
He's trained enough that he probably is. He's training with our top guy, right? So, and I met him in Detroit when Arnold and Peachy came for a North American tour. Well, North America and Europe, and that was something else. The two of them traveled all around the world. Peachy ended up coming back up from Detroit to Toronto with me. And she held a few seminars as well and did quite a bit of personal training. But they were doing that actually to help raise money for Master Tony because he wasn't doing so well. He was sick at the time, and it helped with his medical bills and whatnot. So that was a really
circa 2011 or so, or
no, that would have been probably closer to 2014 or 2015.
Oh, that was later.
Yeah.
So I know she came back post his death. Am I correct?
That's right. Yeah. And then of course she went to Master Tom because they're of course very, very close. And if anyone's as close to Master Tony in when it comes to fighting spirit or technique, it's either Arnold or Master Tom.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either one, right?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. And Peachy is really like she's the lead when it comes to Espada y Daga or Punta.
Yeah, no, I've seen her Punta y Daga. Yeah, her book and what have you. Yeah. Wow. Man, so we're gonna jump in. So you had, it's funny. You got it. Like you got an FMA. I don't want to say late, but you did some other stuff before you got in.
Well, kind of interesting. Yeah. So go ahead. Sorry.
No. So you had an extensive, and it sounds like it was predominantly, if I'm not mistaken, more on the empty hand emphasis.
That's right. Yeah. So I started off in boxing. So kind of I like to draw a little bit of a parallel. But of course I'm nowhere near where Master Tony is. But Master Tony actually started fairly late too, right? Not in his 20s or 30s. I believe in his 40s. And the big
Is that
joke
right?
between him, yeah, and
Oh, I had no
between,
idea.
sorry, yeah, and him and Mang Romy would joke and saying that, Tatang, when they were training with him, was in his 70s or 80s, and he said, "Oh, we got time, we could catch up." So
Yeah, we got a couple generations.
yeah, exactly. But yeah. So I started off with this combat sports.
Okay.
Oh, thing that drew me in was, of course, Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon, and I sought out kung fu, karate, tried a bit of this and that. But as a young guy, you want to kind of test yourself, right? So
Mm.
didn't want to go out in the streets and pick a street fight. Did happen sometimes, but the only way, at the same time, you want to fight somebody that would have some skill, right? Somebody at your
Mm.
level.
Yeah, you
So
plus
I
you don't
got
want to come
into,
across as a bully. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, exactly. Which is really not what we're all about.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, you're young, you're eager.
Testosterone and
You got it. Yeah. So I got into a little bit of kickboxing at first, and it was difficult at the time. There weren't too many competitions back then. Um, in fact, I think kickboxing was illegal to compete in, or at least in a professional level, or even amateur. So there were a lot of somewhat underground things going on. Not too underground, because there were actually some of them were televised, but they got away with it. But yeah, so it was very difficult, especially at my age, to find a competition, right? So I was, as I mentioned yesterday, I was a young teen, and we visited. My family visited this Canadian National Exhibition during the summer, which is always a big event during the summer, and
mm.
we. I happened to see a boxing ring set up, and a couple of guys were sparring in there, and it was from one of the local gyms, Sully's, um, and I got to talk to one of the coaches, and he was telling me, like, if you really want to fight a lot, yeah, get into boxing, because there's a lot of competition. No, it's an
Right,
Olympic
right.
event.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I went, and then I ended up had a few fights with them, and then I went over to the Toronto Newsboys, which became my home gym, and yeah, just a lot of like-minded people there as well, and a lot of good competitors. And I got to spar with some pros as a kid. They didn't care how small or how young I was. They were trying to take my head off, and well, it was cool hard knocks, right? And it's just like how Master Tony and Mangromi and everybody else got taught by Tatang. You taught them by hitting them.
Yeah, there
So
was no
I learned.
protective gear
Yeah,
back
I
then.
had.
Their hands were getting lumped up.
Oh yeah. Mangromi and Master Tony have shown me marks on their arms from being hit from back then, from Tatang. So it's still
Permanent.
there. Yeah,
Ugh.
but what a way to learn, right? But it is kind of true. And I ended up, whenever I'd compete with somebody my age or my size, man, it was a joke. So I had, been beaten up a bit by the grown
Yeah, so you're seeing some of
professionals.
your own weight and size. You're like, oh, this
Oh
is heaven.
yeah, somebody hit me and, well, is that all you got? And come forward and let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Jeez. And then,
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, you also did some Thai boxing as well, or?
So what happened was, there was a really well-known gym in Toronto at the time. It was in Scarborough still. It was
Okay.
called Ultimate Martial Arts. Crew Paul Minhas was my crew, my teacher, and
Okay.
I would always pass by. It was always on the way to one of the malls, and I thought to myself, and it said kickboxing, Muay Thai kickboxing, and MMA.
Right.
And I had known Paul Minhas had been also training guys like Gary Goodrich, who is one of the few that had actually fought in the UFC,
Gary
Pride, and
Goodrich.
K1.
I didn't know he taught Gary Goodrich.
Yeah, he was one of his fighters.
That's like,
And
oh wow,
yeah,
that's '90s. My gosh.
yeah, exactly. So he went pretty far back. He was right at the cusp or the beginning of MMA. And yeah, so I always thought, like, man, watching Hoist Gracie at
Yeah.
UFC 1 and 2, like taking guys down, guys that were much bigger, really good strikers, were just nothing in
I
comparison to
know.
Brown, right? So I thought, I better learn. I better
Yeah,
figure
yeah,
out how
yeah,
to deal
yeah.
with
Right.
getting taken down and whatnot. So I joined that gym with the premise of getting more into the MMA side of things. But,
Okay.
the Muay Thai side kind of drew something out of my beginnings, which was kickboxing. And
Okay.
the two of them went hand in hand, of course, MMA and Muay Thai, right? So, when it comes to striking for MMA, Muay Thai is pretty much one of the
it was
top
one of
things.
the chosen. I mean, probably the most chosen empty hand art, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of it too. What the origins of Muay Thai as a sport came from Muay Boran, right? So the warrior side of stuff, and pretty really interesting stuff. So you start to learn how to hit with your limbs instead of just your fists, because after a while you realize, oh, my knuckles are kind of busted up from all the years of punching stuff. But most of the time, well, they usually will be hitting with the big bones on the bodies, right? So they use their shin bone and their the femur when they throw a knee, and they're going to use their elbows, especially close range. And
when you have to condition your elbows or knees. I mean the bone's pretty. It just so
exactly. But what I really got out of it was how to generate power, right? How to generate speed and power, actually. But Muay Thai is famous for their strength, strong, powerful strikes. But what I started to also incorporate into it was some boxing skills from my footwork, right? Because Muay Thai is fairly, you're not.
No, we said very linear. Because they're going to trade. They condition themselves to.
That's right. Yeah, like they say, it's a human cockfight, right? So you're just going to go at it, block, counter, and just basically go back and forth. But by adding a bit of footwork to it, moving into angles and things like that, it changed things a bit. And even Crew Paul noticed, like, oh, okay, that's different. And then what he did
was because you had the boxing background, right?
That's right. Yeah. So I was a mover. One of my favorite fighters of all time is Sugar Ray Leonard, and one of the reasons why I admired them because of his ability to beat pretty much any style, right? So he beat Roberto Duran.
I gotta give it to him. Not my favorite, but he was able to conform.
Yeah.
Like if you look at with Hagler.
Yeah, he fought Hagler totally differently than the way he fought Hearns.
No, 100%. I mean,
so there's so many really interesting things to see in their fights. Back then, like what Tyson says today, boxers are businessmen. Back then, they were fighters.
No, I mean, look at the golden age. They were fighting a couple times a month before the cup deal. Today it's like 6 months, and then we got to go to contract negotiations. And
they just waited out top dollar.
Yeah,
if you got two really big stars right now, they'll push it a bit until they can make the mega
to the max amount they're going to get. I totally agree.
But at the same time, I wonder too, like this is something Vico had brought up to me because, I was fiercely proud of my fighters. What am I doing to these guys? Like, of course I'm going to teach them as much as possible not to get hit and hit back. But, in the end, there's a lot of injuries that could occur, right? So, brain damage, it's a pretty real thing. And look at some of the old boxers like Wilfredo Benitez and quite a few others. They're not there
on that. Like you look at, for instance, like oh my God, Raging Bull. Why is his name?
Oh, Jake LaMotta.
But you look at like those old time guys who just like mix it up, fought more than once. I think it's because they only had 8 weight divisions back then.
That's right.
So like if you couldn't get that weight band, you were just forced.
Exactly.
In other words, if you couldn't make like Sugar Ray Robinson could not stay at welterweight.
That's right.
You just couldn't do it. Yeah. Now you've got all these catch weights, and I think that's attributed to this CTA and the brain losing, loss of the brain and all that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
A lot of it, actually, funny thing is a lot of it comes from sparring, right? So guys like Muhammad Ali had said that himself. It was all the, in order to get ready for one fight, which could be back then 15 rounds. Well, even Jake LaMotta at times.
Well, even 15 more than that.
15 rounds. So they were actually, they would put in a few hundred rounds just to get ready for that fight.
Before that, right.
And the funny thing is, it's kind of ironic, but headgear kind of dulls it, but it is constant repetitive.
It's just that
So when I started boxing, we competitions, especially were in the elite level, you were boxing, especially in the finals, without headgear.
No headgear. Right.
Yeah. So kind of like there are pros and cons to both, I have to say. But it's interesting to see how just the training alone puts a lot of wear and tear on the fighter, right?
Yeah,
And
I know.
yeah,
It's like the
so
brain.
that
I'm
was
sorry, the head was not made to be pounded on.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, so I've had some young fighters that were really promising. They weren't fighting out of the ghetto or the barrio, so they didn't really need to fight. So some of them I would just say, stick to your school, or
Right.
just
If that's not their only avenue, it's like,
yeah.
yeah, you
But
know what I mean?
what they got out of it though is like, especially when they won those championships or whatnot, is a good life lesson. They were able to, if you could deal with that in the ring,
Oh,
you
think
should
about the,
do it
yeah, I
anyway,
mean, no, if you
right?
can handle this, I mean, just for
Yeah,
stress and how to deal with future problems, and be like, man, I was in the ring, I
yeah,
could deal with it.
exactly. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, you know what I mean? You know, and obviously their stress management, I'm sure, is much
Oh
more
yeah. Oh,
enhanced. You know,
nothing beats whacking on a bag.
yeah,
When you
yeah,
have
or
a
having
bad day,
somebody
that
trying
helps.
to like, lower your IQ by 20 points. You know what I mean? So, all right, so that's your feedback. What So it's funny. Here you are. You're obviously doing well in the empty hand circuit, whether it
uh,
be via boxing or Thai.
yeah.
What made you go seek the dark side? Just kidding. I mean,
The bright side. Yeah, so I just started to think, you get older, you start to think about, and then you start watching the news, and knife attacks are happening, right? Or, could be almost anything. Of course, guns are an issue too, but, we actually, our country has a pretty strict the gun control here is a bit on the heavier side. So we don't have that. Only the guns you'll see on the streets are smuggled in from states, and they're used by gang members, right? So, but the average kid or bad guy that's going to try to rob you won't probably be able to afford something like that. They'll carry a knife.
yeah,
So
exactly. Right, right.
yeah, you start to think like, yeah, I can knock somebody out. I can knock that guy out, but what if he stabs you in the heart before
I'm
that
going to
happens?
trade a right cross for a number
Yeah,
five thrust.
yeah, yeah. Well, somewhere there, yeah, yeah, somewhat. I think more like an uppercut, but yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
but
I
yeah,
mean?
but it's it worked really well. So I basically, so first of all, I started to seek other martial arts that dealt with weaponry. So I was looking at even Krav Maga,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then and then I was reading about more and more about Arnis Eskrima Kali, and I I I thought to myself, what am I doing? I'm a Filipino.
Yeah,
I
like
should
here
check out
you're
my own
going over
stuff.
here, you're going over
Yeah,
there, you're
yeah,
going.
exactly. And then the at the time you'd always think, it's Arnie's. That's all just sticks, but no, it's not really, right? So it's
Yeah.
just basically we're using sticks to represent the sword and its
Mm,
movement, right, and blades. And of course, you learn with the longer stuff, you're going to be pretty decent with the short stuff too. So with knives, it'll be quite good. And yeah, so what happened was I ended up searching around for FMA instructors, and one of the gentlemen I found was his name was, I mentioned it yesterday. I messed up his name, by the way. His name
okay.
is Jerry Galano. He had actually trained a little bit with Tatang back in the Philippines, but he had been living in Canada for quite a while.
Okay.
Um, Quite a gentleman, quite a character, and at the time, I think we were just starting the business. So I opened up my own gym at that time around 2009, and
Okay.
I was just thinking business, business, business. So I was trying to grow the business. Although I really wanted to get that into the school or into my gym, I couldn't really focus on it just yet. And
Mm,
then that lapsed, and then I ran into Guro Ramon Villardo, who was the Canadian director of Bakbakan International Canada,
wow,
and he
that's
had
so
trained. Yeah,
fascinating. I just
yeah,
never. Wow. Okay. Okay.
yeah. So he had been training with Grandmaster Ray Galang
Right.
in
Right.
Lodi, New Jersey, and he would actually drive there
Before
every
he moved
weekend.
back to
Yeah,
okay.
so he would actually take that's a long drive from Toronto, so a
And the
good
Lodi,
10,
my
11
God,
hour drive.
Lodi is 2.5 hours at least from
Lodi,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. It took him a good 10 to 11 from here, and yeah, he'd do
that's
it religiously.
dedication.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was given the right to represent it in Canada, and we ended up becoming an affiliate gym, and I became tagpasanay, an instructor or a teacher, and yeah, and then from there I was you get sucked into it. If I get obsessed with something, I that's it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be looking at on YouTube or whatever is going to be like Cali, right? So, of course, the Bakbakan came from Christopher Ricketts and
Right. Back over the day, right?
Raven Galang, right? So Reynaldo Galang, and then I found out that they were taught by a Grandmaster Tony Diego, who was actually Tatang's, who had,
There, right?
yeah, that's right. So he had trained. He was the one that discovered Tatang and bugged him to teach him. And so
Imagine, I tell everybody, imagine if that never happened.
yeah.
Like
Oh
if he
God.
wasn't
Yeah.
persistent, like
Yeah.
we may never have had KI today.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And Master Tony himself has a background in boxing and had a background in Balintawak, and that he was just looking for something, and had heard a lot about this old man, right? All the stories, which happened to be real. And he finally found him, and ended up he was actually living in the street next to him, but he was always away because he was Tatang was a merchant marine. Right? Yes, that's right. So when he was finally around, he would come over with a bottle of scotch or a bottle of
bribing him with booze.
Yeah, until he finally, he would tell him, why would I want to teach something that I used to defend my life to somebody else? But then I believe Tatang's wife said, come on, he's a great guy. You gotta, loosen up a bit. And then he started teaching him. But and that was it, right? Him and Yuli Romo. So
Yuli was second.
Yeah, the two of them. And some really funny stories. Apparently, when they were both looking for Tatang, and it was almost like they're competing with each other to get him first. And then when Master Tony finally found him, and then he went back, and I don't think they told each other that they had found Tatang, and Yuli Romo had actually found him as well. Master Tony went over to the house to train, and there was Yuli Romo barbecuing some fish for Tatang at the front.
So, my God. That's a new one to me. Wow. My understanding was Diego, constantly leaving stuff at the door, gifting him to God knows how many days in a row.
Yeah.
And then finally, Ilustrisimo giving in, Yuli kind of coming second, lived with him a while. Then Master Tuper.
Yeah, so Master Tuper and Ray Galang, quite a few of them.
The order, my understanding, the order after Master Tuper, then Edgar, Ray Galang being last.
Yeah, Edgar Solite was he had his own style, the Lameco, right? And he learned, you can see a lot of Ilustrisimo too, right?
It was like the last component again to be added to what form what we have. I guess what is Lameco today is my understanding.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you look at Bakbakan International, the way Christopher Galang had, Christopher Ricketts and so Master Tuper and Master Ray had envisioned it was to bring together all this.
Like a brotherhood, and not so much set on a particular style or curriculum.
That's right. Yeah, not my style is better than yours, but what can we take out of this style, make it work for us?
Think about how ahead of the time they were with that concept.
Yeah, and it was actually Ron Balicki who had said that in one of those. I think it was The Bladed Hand, awesome documentary by Jay Ignacio.
Yeah, I know.
But he said that FMA is more Jeet Kune Do than Jeet Kune Do is Jeet Kune Do. The whole concept of Jeet Kune Do is to take the best of everything and make it work for you, right? And
that was well put by him. So when you're doing this, like so for the folks who might not know,
sure,
what did it comprise of? Like the system that you got from the Canada rep there, like what could you tell us?
Okay, so
the elements,
so the nice thing about Master or Guro Ramon, he's a master. I would really call him a master, but he called the system Bakbakan Sibukan, meaning like let's try this out. So like let's see what it would be like if I had a whip or a chair. What would you do? How would you deal with that?
No, I like that. So,
and then play around with it, and we'd do stuff like that at the gym too, where we would, one guy said, "What if I had an axe?" Or what if I had, so things like that. So we would actually, without trying to kill each other, but, see what you could do and how you'd have to alter your style to make it work for you, right? So that's the beauty of Ilustrisimo, I find, is that it's malleable. It can conform to different things that, using the same principles, but You could use, like, for example, a staff. You could use that for long range, but also grip it in the center and then use it for closer distances, right? So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, things like that. But that's one thing I really got out of Ilustrisimo. And when I was there, Master Tony and Mongromi both told me, Master Tony in particular said, when you go back, because he knew I had the gym, and with boxers, Thai boxers, and MMA fighters, try to incorporate what you know from Ilustrisimo into it, into your sports, right?
Okay.
And I did, and I really worked on footwork. I would make my boxers spar with knives. I would really emphasize footwork with the MMA fighters to avoid takedowns, or even set up a better takedown, and Thai boxers as well, right? So right after that, we took it on. We won quite a few championships. We had
Think about
quite
that,
a
but
few
just
national, provisional championships in Muay Thai. We had quite a few Golden
I
Glove
can definitely
championships
see
in
that.
boxing. Yeah, and one of our girls even won a world championship too. So,
Oh, that's
and
fantastic.
yeah, so we were using a lot more footwork than others, but not so much to evade, but to get into a better position to strike.
Better
Right?
positioning, right?
Yeah.
No, I could definitely. No, I came up through the V-neck lineage in JKD, and one of the things that we did was heavily knife sparring to enhance the empty hand,
That's it.
but
Yeah.
also the footwork and your perception react. And I
Mhm.
tell you, I think it's such a value.
Yeah.
Such value.
It's really like, in a knife fight, you obviously don't want to get cut or you don't want to get stabbed.
Yeah,
So
right.
just like in boxing, yeah, you could get hit, you could block it, but it's quite different. So when you give somebody a knife, it's quite funny because my Cali guys, in comparison, don't look like the boxers. They're usually a little older because they're, thinking more about reality, right? They're not
Yeah,
looking.
right. Yeah,
They don't want a gold medal or a belt.
yeah.
They want to learn how to defend themselves in
Yeah, God
families.
forbid if
Yeah,
they're out on the street and some thug is right about to
yeah.
pull them up. Yeah, yeah.
So I would have some of the really athletic fighters spar with them with knives, and boy, they would get torn up, and they would go, "Holy crap!" Like that. At that point, that was like a light bulb going on. Like, okay, there's something
Yeah, I
here.
might want to check this out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That
So it
would be
was really neat
that
because
would be my conclusion if an old
yeah,
man just schooled me. I mean, that would be like I might want to know what he's doing.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So that was nice to see, and it was nice to well, when you're young and you're headstrong and you think that your style is it and
Oh yeah, and
you're
you're
unbeatable,
right.
you don't think
What's this
that
old
this
guy
older
know?
guy's gonna kick my ass, right? So, but
Yeah,
they when that happens, and that's pretty much when they turn around and go, okay, yeah, there's something here.
yeah. They can't refute the results then, man. When an old man's freaking
Yeah,
cutting you up and you're like don't have an answer for it unless you're just
exactly.
completely like lying to yourself and
Hmm.
I mean, but we got some folks. Oh my gosh, you know what?
Oh
I
boy,
was getting so much into the conversation with you. It was a good thing that I
we
missed
got
all these.
questions. Okay.
We got Felix from Texas. We got Maria, who's Canada. Maria,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, I know her. Yeah,
yeah.
she's
She says
excellent. She really puts
one of
together a lot
the
of
one
great
of her
events.
favorite human beings. We got Maestro Alvin from San Francisco. We got Riley. Hey, Riley. All right, Riley, I'm going to get your. Has Tatang ever mentioned the use of handguards or on blades?
The use of handguards as a
Spanish, the
oh, I
Spanish.
see. Okay, like the Spanish type of saber or
Yeah, I think
whatnot.
that's what he's meaning. Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Not that I know of, but see, the thing is, you look at a Filipino sword, and it's really derived from a Spanish sword, right? Um, there really isn't a. I haven't seen many with much of a handguard. Most of the handguards, they wouldn't be like the big pommel
I
thing.
think it was like it definitely came from the Spanish influence,
Oh,
100%.
big, oh, huge. Like
Yeah,
one of the
I think
stories
an
that Mom Romy,
after, like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
So
I can't. Yeah, I mean, it's my best without knowing for sure, but
yeah. Well, without a doubt, there was a
yeah,
huge Spanish influence. Even so, a little story that Mangromi told me between him and Master Tony would they were fiercely proud that they were teaching a Filipino martial art or training in the art that was theirs, right? That
yeah,
they're
yeah.
fiercely patriotic, right? And then they started thinking, oh, Cadena Real, all the names, Pluma,
I know.
yeah, Estrella.
Where
Those
they
are all
all come
Spanish
from?
words, right? And then what Mangromi did was he took it a step further and he started studying Western fencing.
Yeah,
And those are the same moves, right? So when you train with Mangromi, you are actually getting a really valuable fencing lesson. Not so much for
No,
the
I hear
sport.
he went really deep into the Spanish side
Yeah,
of things. I heard that from several people that he went
yeah.
really. Yeah,
Espada y daga, right?
that's definitely
Espada.
Spanish. Sounds
Oh
Spanish.
yeah, sword and dagger. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Our
Yeah,
system is
there's
called
definitely
punta y daga.
Spanish. Yeah.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, David Gould was telling me that, and he went over there in his Ilustrisimo's twilight years. I'm going to
Uh-huh.
think 96, 97, the year he died, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
And he said that it was a perfect fusion of Spanish and Moro arts.
exactly.
And if you look
Well,
at it, you know,
when you look at Tatang's background, he was taught by the Ilustrisimo family, which were taught the Spanish way, right? And then at the young age, the story is quite famous how he was on his he wanted to go to America, and he ended up getting onto a
and
fishing
end
boat.
up with the down
Yeah,
below.
yeah, he was a stowaway, and the sailors just dropped him off at one of the
Yeah.
most southernmost islands, which is all occupied by the Moros, the
Mm.
Muslims, and they took him in, and they saw this kid had some skill, and I believe the Sultan took a real liking to him, and they taught him everything they knew. So he learned how to use their barong. Their system is a lot more close range.
Yeah.
So when you look at what I like to say about Illustrismo is this: it actually it is a perfect example of what a Filipino is, with Spanish descent,
Think
with the
that's a good
Muslim
point.
influence.
Like what
Yeah,
initially came over the wave
yeah.
before the Spanish came, right?
Yeah, and if
That's
you
a good
look
way
at
of
the
looking at
waves
it.
of immigrants into the Philippines,
Yeah.
of course there were the Negritos first, but then it was the Indo-Malays, and then the Indo-Chinese, and then the Spanish. The Spanish
Mm.
came. So Tatang was taught the Spanish way, right? The fencing stuff. Eskrima.
Mm.
Well, eskrima comes from Spanish
Mm.
esgrima, which is fencing,
Right.
and he was taught when at a young age, also as a young man, before he was sent up because he had got in a little bit of trouble. I think he killed somebody down south, and
He was the
and he was taught.
wrong Cadena Real.
Yeah, yeah. Cadena Real is totally Spanish too, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, if you ever get a chance to even train with Mangromi, you'll see it's
I just got his book, and you
oh
know what it is
yeah,
between interviews.
yeah,
I know between interviews, the
yeah.
test
This is so
runs,
yeah.
teaching,
Hmm.
and I just like I got to be honest. I've looked through it,
Yeah,
but I haven't
it's
like got a
oh, I
chance to
know.
sit down and
Yeah,
read it.
it's
And
been so
everybody's telling
difficult.
me it's phenomenal. Yeah,
He's the historian, or you could say he's the one that's in charge of cataloging everything in
yeah. I
Ilustrisimo.
think he is what the Brandon Ricketts has in videos.
That's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he yeah, if you ever get a chance to, man, like
No, I know. Yeah, I know.
yeah,
I've heard nothing. I just have to make a point to sit down and
yeah.
just start reading it.
Really,
And
I
I get
think
so easily distracted. Oh, there's an
yeah.
interview coming up.
So
Oh, let me get another interview.
yeah, yeah. Oh God, it's I can imagine you've got so many
So
people.
I'm my own worst enemy. But we got Guro Tom Pena. We got Christoph. I hope I'm pronouncing that, sir. We got Joe. Hello, Pokey. That guy is crazy.
So
Master only, yeah, I understand, Joe. He had a Bluntwalk background. And we got Dean Larson. There's a
oh,
cool
Dean's
cat.
an awesome man,
So
my
Master
brother.
Tony, then Yuli. Yes, after Yuli, from I understand, Master Ricketts,
Yeah,
Edgar, and then Ray Galan.
yeah,
That's what was told to me. So don't quote me on
sure.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're called the
Yeah.
four or five pillars of Illustrismo,
So,
right?
and we got Sagasa helps boxers as well. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
all that
yeah,
hip magic, huh?
yeah. Oh,
And we
all
got
from the hip.
Paste also. All right, all right. So
He,
fascinating,
mhm.
fascinating.
Yeah,
I just love the stories. I just think they're
yeah.
just
Oh,
so
it was rough as
um,
with gold. We would actually, it was quite different training with Mangromi as it was training with Master Tony. Mangromi was a lot of history, which was excellent.
yeah,
And
but I like that though.
yeah, oh
I
yeah,
don't need all physical content, man. If you've got great
yeah,
stories in history, I like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Master Tony would make it work, and he would,
Yeah.
no matter how hot it was, no matter, yeah, he'd make it work. Just as you could see it in living examples in Master Tom and Arnold, right? Arnold really should be called Master. I have to say that out
I
loud.
think most
He's
do. If I'm not
right.
mistaken, I think most do.
They do, but Arnold is again. He's another really modest guy.
Kind
Like
of low
he's
key, doesn't want
extremely
the.
low key, and he just wants you to call him coach, which is cool. But like, quite
You're right. No,
honestly,
I do hear
yeah,
more of the coach reference. You're right. I do hear
yeah.
that more. Yeah,
But you know what? That's the thing. They
yeah.
don't really care about titles. And if you ever went to Luneta back then in the at the park on the Sundays when they would have their public training, um, you would walk through and you see all kinds of different martial
Just
artists
like
and their groups, and they're
legends.
all uniformed, or even at least the same shirt or same pants or whatnot.
Mm.
And some are in gis and whatnot. And then you walk over to the Ilustrisimo side, and they're like, you know,
Just
Master
casual
Tony would be,
clothes or
yeah, in
whatever.
sandals, his flip flops.
That's
And yeah, it
funny.
just looked like a bunch of ragtag dudes, but they were serious, and they were feared. Everybody respected them.
No, I believe it. I believe it. Well, especially with if the legend was still around there. If you went in the
Oh,
'90s, man, you know what I
yeah.
mean. I don't think anybody was saying anything derogative then.
Oh no, no. And at the same time, he was apparently Tatang was also quite modest. He would never put down another system, but he would observe, and then he would try to figure out how to beat it or how to emulate it
Yeah,
at least. But yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, so
That
he
guy
was
was just man.
yeah,
That guy was off the charts, man. Everything
yeah,
you hear, read about him, man. That guy was just, you know.
incredible. Yeah, he's a true legend, true
Yeah,
legend.
that's just like God Almighty. But when so
But I'll
okay,
tell you
so
now,
what's that?
Mangromi says if you want to see somebody move similarly to Tatang, look at Vico.
Who?
Vico Aquino Parain. You got
Oh
to.
no, no. I
Yeah.
think, in my opinion, he's and I say this all the time, so it's not the first time
Hmm.
I said this. His Aldabus to me
Yeah.
is better than anybody's I've
That's
seen.
so
The way he
beautiful.
does it,
Yeah.
it is just like
Yeah.
his form is flawless, in my opinion.
He's got the same height and reach as
Yeah, but if
Tatang.
you look, oh
Very
yeah, if you
similar.
look at the
Yeah,
physicality,
that's right.
very
Master
similar.
Tom's like Master Tony. Master Tony was
Yeah, like about
explosive,
even
really
height.
powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and Arnold is this man. He's so smooth and so flowy, but powerful. I had a chance to do a little bit of hand sparring with him. Oh my god, I thought it was fast. I felt like a snail. Yeah, and well, of course,
Yeah.
it's the timing too. Mangromi, if you spar with him, he'll time you. He doesn't have the speed of the younger guys, but he'll time you.
Yeah, he's
So
going to be more relying on more Impraction or Unabagada, right?
exactly, yeah.
Right. He's not going to go there and bounce around like a 20-year-old man.
No, no. Oh, he's yeah. He's got the
You know?
patience to wait for you to make a mistake, and he'll capitalize on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No,
yeah,
that's good stuff. So when you okay, so you obviously are seriously attracted to KI. You obviously want to
yeah.
pursue it.
Uh-huh.
What what kept you there? Like what was it for the viewers? Like what just immersed in you, or what captivated you to want to pursue this more deeply?
I oh, I would say probably the practicality in it. There's no katas, there's no forms
Form, no
per se.
form, have
You know,
not
although
heavily
you can,
memorization
yeah,
based.
you can create a form for it,
Yeah.
but it's just like the real deal stuff, right? And like you look at Tatang's record, like if he were a boxer, he would have been undefeated. He would have been better than Mayweather. He never
You would have been
died
like
like
the
that,
next,
man.
yeah,
Right? So
Mayweather, Marciano.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, gosh,
but
right?
I think okay. So somebody has said it. I can't recall who. Maybe it was Monroe. Maybe Master Tony, or could have even been Vico. Vico's really well spoken, but they say that Ilustrisimo is like learning the game Go. Takes a few
I'm
seconds
sorry,
to learn.
learning the game. I'm sorry.
Go, you know the Asian game like black and white
That's a new
stones.
one to me.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you ever watch? Well, it's huge in Asia.
Okay.
They have like multi-million-dollar events for that.
Oh, is that
Like
right? Oh,
the
wow.
Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really big. Like everybody stops to watch some of these. Not so much in the Philippines, but more like in Korea and Japan, China. Uh,
Okay.
but but it's a simple game. You basically have a black stone or you're black, either the black stone or the white stone. I don't know the game myself, but I can understand that it is pretty easy to learn, right?
Okay.
But it's easy to teach or easy to understand what Illustration is about, but it takes a lifetime to master. So as
You hit
I've
something so
mhm,
you just hit it the nail on the head. Like
uh-huh,
if you look at from a conceptual point of view, it's
yeah,
not hard. Okay, I'm
yeah,
going to try to find a gap and I'm going to
mhm,
try to expose them to him. But when
that's
you
it.
put real time, real
Yeah,
distance, real speed, real
yeah,
accuracy, real positioning,
yeah,
now it gets like
exactly. So that's
that
where
was well
yeah,
said on your part.
Yeah. And then of course you have to change your style for the other styles too, right? So if like we had spoke earlier, I have some of my Kali guys are like the long game. So one of them is a former fencing champion from the Philippines who now
Oh, wow,
lives
okay.
here, and he like you give him a stick, he'll take your hands off, right? Not a problem. His footwork is excellent. He'll use what's called retirada pura, which is
Yeah.
meaning like he's not going to cross his legs. He's just going to stay like a boxer, and he, again, more for long range. So that footwork works best there. But I see him beating the crap out of all the other guys who go, okay, whispering to the other guys here, rush him, make him
Yeah,
fight
force
close.
him out
Right?
of his
So
range, comfort
yeah,
zone.
yeah, force him to fight on the inside, not so much to beat him, but also to teach him, right? So he'll learn.
Mm.
So and he did. So we have guys that that's the thing. Peachy said it best about all the different martial arts. It's like, well, and from a lady's perspective, it's like when you walk through the park, you'll see all these different systems.
Mm.
Just find the one that works best for you. So for me, Ilustrisimo worked best, but it also because of the fact that it could also conform to different needs, right? So kind of like Leonard being able to fight
Mm.
Hagler the way
Oh,
he
yeah,
did.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
So if you can't conform, if you can't change your system or your style of fighting, it's over, right? If you're gonna
Yeah,
run
yeah.
into
If you can't
somebody.
adapt on the
Yeah,
spot, man, you're gonna be.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. Like I guess Illustrations isn't really all about like just the strikes, which is pretty detailed. Like your the Aldabis, right? Um, the Arco is
Arco,
another one.
yeah.
And then also some of the systems that are really Illustrismoisms are like Pluma, right?
Plumber. Yeah.
Yeah, Pluma is you don't really see that in anything else. But
I think there's a bunch of stuff I like. In other words, I bounced around early there, not by choice, just because
uh,
just didn't find what I was looking for.
yeah,
Like I was in Sayoc, Atienza, Anasano blend,
uh-huh.
Still with Bird and Avenir and all that. But I think there's stuff in the illustration I've not seen in other systems.
It's
Friday,
true.
Media Friday,
Nadia Friday, yeah, yeah,
Pluma. I mean, there's
Pluma, yeah,
definitely some of the
yeah,
footwork.
yeah, and it's and the footwork, and it can't work without the footwork, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you
There's
can do
definitely
this
stuff
strike,
that's
but if you,
unique, like
yeah, like
really
Pluma, if
unique.
you don't do what's it called, the oh my god, oh, terrible. Either do a retirada angulo or a oh my god, our most famous move, our footwork, lutang, the
Yeah,
floating
yeah,
footwork.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That works incredibly well when
Like
you
think
use
about
the
that.
footwork.
Like I've never
Yeah.
seen I've seen other systems take it,
Yeah.
and use it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, you see
But,
boxers doing something similar too, right? Well, we call it elastico too, where you create that
yeah, the
space.
whole upper, whole
Yeah.
upper body shifting. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
No, I totally agree. There's stuff in there. To me,
Yeah.
what really resonated with me was I didn't feel like getting low anymore. I didn't feel like bending
Yeah.
my knees, man. I'm just being honest. I
Yeah.
wanted to be
Yeah.
upright
See,
and
it's a lot of fighting concepts more than the fighting techniques. So one thing that Master Tony was really strong on was the concept of cerrada, like closing the attack. So you may do say the strike comes here, you go for the hand. If you miss, he's going to come back and then he'll stop. So
you're coming up here
yeah,
and
yeah.
walling it off.
So you stop that attack from coming back, and it's
Gotcha.
kind of you don't see that too much in WECAF kind of sparring, right? It's just whack, 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 whack.
It's points.
Yeah, it's
Corticabadas.
pretty much like boxing. It's it's its own thing. But yeah, in a sword fight that wouldn't work too well, right? So
I'm guessing. I don't care what gear you got on, man.
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So when Master Tony started teaching that, you start to think like, crap, yeah, the fight's not over. And Tatang would say it himself. If you have to train with Vico, he also talks about the 5 seconds of a dying man, right? So
Oh no,
that's
going to become more when their desperation, right?
Yeah. He's dying. He's going to take you with him, right? So you better make
Well, you
sure
got
that
to lose, right?
what he throws is going to be dealt with, right? And you can't do that unless you have the footwork to escape, right, or to move to the side,
or acknowledging where's his last ditch effort going to come
from. See, that's what I like about HEMA, the the medieval martial arts stuff, the sword fighting, and when they do their events, they score if you hit the head or whatever you hit, you get you don't get the point if the other person hits you back within a certain amount of time, right? So if you hit the head and then you counter the next strike, then you get that point. So makes sense.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which I think is much more realistic than anything else, right? So
Yeah, some of the ruling, like I get, like I have nothing against recap. If they
oh
enjoy
no,
it, like I think it's
yeah,
absolutely better if they don't do
it's
anything.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
You
It's a
know,
hell of a workout, that's for sure.
I
Yeah,
mean, like
and
if you're rallying off those corticobatas, man, for like
yeah,
a minute straight for point, there's nobody telling me
right.
you're not in shape. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. No,
so.
it's a sport just like anything else, right?
Yeah,
So
that's it. I think
yeah,
people
like
lose
boxing.
that. Like,
Yeah,
I think they lose the lens of a sport, and they're like, "Well,
yeah.
that was reality." Well, no, it's not reality. It's a sport. So you can't. So the context, you have
That's
to stay in
yeah,
that
yeah.
contextual lane.
See, that's the
You
thing. You
know?
gotta realize like what you're looking at isn't so much just this isn't reality based or this isn't a
Mm.
sport, right? So some people like the sport, so
Yeah,
go for
right.
it.
And
Nothing wrong with
here's the thing though: if it makes them happy,
it. Hmm.
like who the hell's to say?
Yeah,
You should impose what you think is
exactly.
right or all
Well,
that. You know?
and it's just like me too. Like you might get to the point where, okay, the sport is great, but I better learn some reality based stuff, right? So,
Mm.
my boxing's not going to deal with Master
Yeah.
Tony would always talk about how
Somebody coming up
boxers,
with a sewing machine
yeah,
and
yeah, blocking. It was a pretty common thing in the Philippines. Boxers would go out in the street and they would get into their guard, and then a guy would just stab right through their arm, right into their
think about
body,
that.
right into
Taking
the
where your hands are lined up.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. So,
That's what I would do. Man. I was a knife guy. Oh,
but
okay. Well,
I
thank
know
you.
some of my friends that are excellent Thai boxers that bounce at bars and were attacked by knife wielding idiots, and they knocked them out with an elbow, right? So
Yeah,
sometimes the
right.
timing is
They
better with
got
this
lucky.
guy.
They landed that cross
Yeah,
before
yeah.
maybe they attacked. Yeah, so it's not
Well,
to say it can't work, but you
yeah,
might want to add a little more. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think what the combat sports does is it does help with timing as well, right? So
Sure. Yeah,
that's a big deal. And any art. So if you don't have any good, if you can time somebody else, that's it, right?
yeah,
So
100%. We
yeah.
got some stuff. I just want to make sure
Oh,
I'm
let's
not
see.
missing
Yeah.
any questions because I know I would like
Be
getting
nice,
into.
Joe. I know
Yeah,
Joe's gonna.
no. It's my fault. I'm just getting so immersed in this conversation with you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I
not
know.
paying
I'm just
attention.
waiting for Joe to say something else.
I know, Joe. Joe, we're paying particular attention to you. So we got Brian, hey Brian, and we got Mazda. Coach reference just probably because on the Kiro's head coach written on Arnold Narzo's Kiro certificate signed by Montoni. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe has struck. What was
Ah,
Tatang's favorite drink?
sorry.
What was Tatang's favorite drink? Tunde, or
Tanduay, which is yeah, it's like
Tanduay or Ginebra?
I don't know. I think you would
Okay.
just I think
Like just
Tatang's favorite
where it
saying
was
was
available?
yeah. Well, yeah. Tatang's favorite. One of the things he's been known to say is that when he was asked which of the strikes in the Illustri's most your favorite, the best one, because the one that lands,
Yeah, the
right?
one.
So
Yeah. So the
probably
one that was.
whatever
So
bottle's closest to him.
so maybe as far as drink goes, maybe the one that was given to him.
Yeah, Joe. I've yet to get to one of them, but he often hosts Scotch sniffer parties where you get a chance to try all the really good stuff. Yeah.
He's a character, man. That
Oh,
guy.
Joe's amazing.
Yeah.
Another one. He's another just like Paulo. They're gelling. They're
Those.
bringing us all together.
Oh, those two are. We got Dan from Pennsylvania. Ask Archie about the Chinese iron block swinging and
Ah,
Budanan. Okay, we'll get to that. I guess
uh,
Archie, I never heard anything exciting about the other arts in the 90s, although he did comment on how he was not impressed on some of the techniques of other groups. I would not. Yeah, well, definitely won't mention that.
here
Yeah,
we go.
just like Asian chess. Okay. I
Yeah,
think the game
there
you
you go.
referenced before.
There you go.
Yeah, and then we got. Wait, what about Balut? Is that we have something like some don't? Who are you to look down on Balut?
On the which?
Nobody's looking down on
Oh
Balut.
my God!
Yeah,
See, this is
we
the
got
thing.
Justin saying hi, Paul saying hi. Guru Dean is geeking out. Yeah, let's say hi. Good conversation, Brian. I'm definitely yeah, I admit it. I
Where
do
we put anything down? We did not put anything down. Jeez.
no,
Yeah.
but this is just going. So
Yeah.
all right. So I guess back to KI.
Yeah. Well, you know what? People are fiercely proud of what they do. So I get it. You're sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
don't
That's why I
worry,
don't want
brothers.
to
We
like.
are all in the same boat. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of like just bashing them. I mean, if that puts a
Yeah.
smile on their face and gets them off the couch. And here's the thing: what if somebody's going through some seriously mental issues, and the fact that they did this got them off the couch and out depressed? You're trying to
Yeah.
tell me because your journey is more important than theirs? I mean, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know, it's the same. Yeah. Just,
It's like so. Vico did. I don't know. I think it was a legit question. Let me just back up.
oh, it'd be cool.
The
Man.
Chinese iron block swinging and
Yeah.
okay. So
So
the Chinese.
Vico knew I was into kettlebells. So I've been a certified kettlebell instructor for a while. I was trained by Sean Most in Vagatsu in Montreal, out of Montreal. And the cool thing about it was he taught me more of the hard style, not so much what you see in CrossFit gyms, which really works well for martial arts. And I was, fiercely proud about talking about kettlebells and how great it was. And I was at Vico's dad's place in Bukidnon up in the mountains, and his dad his father's in incredible shape, but he has a separate little workout area, which is like a little hut of its own. And in there were these Chinese weights that looked like basically like a kettlebell, almost like the old Chinese locks. And
they're something like
yeah,
that.
and the things they do with them, man, something else. So yeah, here you have Russian kettlebells, and then you have the Chinese weighted blocks. It's very similar. So, and
like the Indian clubs, like I
Indian
like
clubs,
those.
yeah, that's another thing too.
But I never heard of those. What you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Vico brought me into that room just to show me, and it was like, wow, this is ancient too. Like this is probably predating Russian kettlebells. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, you got to wonder. I mean, like you wonder maybe if the Russians were in their version was influenced
from
by
my
them.
understanding, the gired or the gire, which means weight, or what they say for the kettlebell was taken from the little weights that they would put on scales. So
the idea of
but
that.
of course they'd have bigger and bigger ones that at markets and whatnot, right? So
That's clever. That makes
that's
sense.
what I was taught or told by Sean. But yeah.
Wow. So all right, all right, let me just I just want to get back as far as my questions here. Okay. So far as your teachers in KI, is it predominantly Montoni and
Mastertoni? Yeah, Mongromi. So what it was really cool. Like I was there for a few months, and I got to train with Master Tony. Well, funny thing is, when I went to the Philippines, I didn't, having heard and read things that Master Tony is pretty picky about who he teaches. I wasn't confident in him taking me in. And what happened was a good friend of mine from Canada was also traveling to the Philippines, and we had plans. Let's hang out every weekend or whatever. Let's meet up and we'll go out to the beaches and stuff like that. And once we left Bukidnon and I ended up in Manila and got to meet Master Tony, and he said, "No, you can train as much as you want." It's like, well, I thought to myself, okay, my buddy's out of luck. I'm not going to be going to any beaches or anything like that. I went to one beach in that entire time, and it was just like a day trip. So I wasn't a tourist. I was there to train.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but because I had trained with Mang Romy in Bukidnon at the workshop, he also invited me over to his place, which was really neat. And he just teaches out of his garage, and which is an open air garage, and really, such a brilliant man, a genius, really. So I got the best of both worlds, right? So Mang Romy is much more the historian, so I got to hear a lot of stories about Tatang. Of course, Arnold had lots to talk about too. But and then at night I'd be training with Master Tony, because Master Tony at the time would have Arnold come and assist, because at that time Master Tony was, his health was going down a bit. Yeah, but he'd sit there and watch, and you wouldn't think he was watching, and then if you made a mistake, he'd just get right up and show you the real way to do it. And wow, it was something else. At one point, he was demonstrating something with Arnold, and Arnold knew he couldn't move. He should not move because the sword went that close to his nose, and something else. But so I got to train. I would train more with Master Tony, And even at the time, Mangromi said, "Don't, he's teaching me, but I'm not his student per se. I'm Master Tony's student." So that's yeah, I'd have to say my
Yeah,
name.
yeah, but it's, I mean, at least you're giving acknowledgement
Yeah.
to,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
You can't. Every single person I've come into, even my students, I learn more from as a
yeah,
teacher, right? So
yeah.
one of the things that was told to me by Peachy and Arnold as well as Master Tony is that now go back, teach what you learn, right? And no, and I was thinking, okay, I'm not really just going across, coming back home to be the ambassador of KI. I'm going to actually sharpen my own skills or knowledge of it, right? So by teaching it, you learn more.
I
And
totally agree with that. And when you
yeah,
say like, oh, you shouldn't be teaching that because
yeah,
it reinforces it make
uh-huh,
to me, I just that whole mindset to me is just archaic,
yeah,
and it's almost like a control mechanism.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, and
It's a shame it happens, but
yeah, yeah, it is,
it's
but
better to you, right? We're all humans. But yeah, with yeah, my guys, like right now, since I've moved a bit further from the city, I only come in on the Tuesday nights and we'll hang out more than anything else, and they'll train, and I'll just look at what they're doing and then interject here and there. But I learn a lot more from my guys than from
no,
any video
no.
or anything like that. Just their own experiences and whatnot. So yeah, your
I think that's
students
great to
will
be open minded like that. So here's the thing I want to just touch upon with
sure.
Romy, and just it just seems to me like he really, and this is just from previous conversations of folks
Mhm.
I've had on here, and private messaging and so
Uh,
forth. Um, he seems to really embrace the concepts of traction and innovagana.
sorry,
And
who's this?
you know,
Master Tony or
no, Monroe. I'm not saying
oh
that's what Tony
Mongromi? Oh
doesn't
yeah,
either.
yeah. Well, which
Um,
is what Ilustrisimo is all about,
that's
Prakshoan,
what I
right?
mean. That's what I
Yeah,
want to get to.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
why is that not being more stressed? Like, and I'm not saying it's not, but here's what I'm getting
Yeah,
at. And I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I'm gonna
sure.
try to put
Oh,
this very
we'll get in trouble. Don't worry.
yeah, I'm gonna try to put this like really delicately.
Sure.
My understanding of this is, and because I put a lot of flight time in, because I want to get better at reading gaps, finding the
Hmm.
gaps
Hmm.
before, during, and after,
Hmm.
waiting as weapon goes by my nose before
Yeah,
and after, and all that.
yeah.
But you have to put flight time in there, man,
Oh yeah.
because you're going to experience failures. Maybe you didn't
Hmm.
position enough. Maybe
Yeah.
you went a little too far back. Now there's no opportunity.
Hmm.
Am I correct? If you're focusing on making weapon contact, it's going to
Hmm.
be really difficult to employ those concepts. Am I wrong?
Um. Let's see. Well, really. Okay. So, okay. Let's take Prakshoan for an example. It's really not so much that you're gonna just break the time. You actually create the gap by using certain things, so by
Like you could use
breaking
an
down the sequence and stuff.
Aganyo and
Yeah.
all that.
So it's like that's the thing, right? When it comes to teaching, okay, this is Anglo, this is it. You're basically teaching those standard strikes, not getting fancy or anything like that. But now to use the concepts, that's a different thing altogether. Like that's like again something that will take a lifetime to master, and
Mm.
you it may not look apparent in real time speed, but it's there. Um, yeah, the thing is, real fights are ugly, right? They're not nearly as good
No, they're
looking
right.
as
They're certainly far
they're
more
ugly.
choreographed.
Yeah, especially with when deadly intent's involved. Look at the Piper stuff. That's just like wow,
I know. I
like
shouldn't be
that's
teaching that stuff
horrific.
anymore. It's like,
Yeah, but
it's just
that's
bad, bad
yeah. Oh
stuff.
yeah, but it's good to know because who knows? You might get attacked by something like that, right? And
Or
or you
just the
might have to.
non-linear attacks from it.
Yeah,
Just the way. I mean,
but
you're not talking about
yeah,
X's or slant or linear lateral slashes. I mean,
that's
you're
right.
talking about
Yeah.
just it's a
Yeah,
nightmare.
getting in there, you're going to get stabbed, you're going to get cut, but you're not going to get stabbed or cut where it counts. But you're going to hit where it counts,
Yeah.
right? So that in a sense is probably a little bit more realistic in that sense. But again, it's a concept, right? It's not so much this is a technique. You're going to block your carotid artery. You're going to get inside. You're going to block your heart
I'll
and all
be right. Yeah.
that
I
things
know. I
like that,
know. It's.
right?
It's.
So
I
that
mean,
is something else. And again, it's not like again, I'm not a Piper expert. I got a little glimpse of it, and I could see the validity in it, but it's something that is a little bit more conceptual, right? So in a
Based
sense.
on it's conceptual and heavily based on ambush tactics.
That's it. Yeah.
And hopefully you just don't embrace the criminality of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you learn. Yeah, you learn. Well,
Yeah.
that's where it
Like
all
you
came
understand the
from.
roots, you
Yeah.
acknowledge it,
Mhm.
but you don't embrace it.
That's right. Yeah. And yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I've seen some of my guys pull off some of those things, right? Like retirada pura word or retirada Anglo stepping off the side and hitting somebody at like a week after tournament. It was actually more of a point based spar or match. And guy came barreling in trying to get close range. My guy just stepped off to the side.
He got offline and just
and just whacked the guy as he walked right through his sword, right, or his stick. So it's there. I think. See, again, like the proof in the pudding for me is being able to incorporate it into some of the other sports like boxing or Muay Thai, right?
Yeah, because it's concept, so you could certainly, absolutely.
Yeah, which is hard to teach, right? So you got people that want to come and learn that magic move, and it's not going to happen, especially not overnight. No. And you can learn how to strike hard, you can learn how to strike fast, but being able to get into the proper angle to execute it, that's a different story altogether.
No, that's what I mean. Like you have to put, like, if you really like want to get those concepts and you want to really embrace them and get decent at them, man, you gotta put like flight time.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to put your time in.
Like within milliseconds of okay, I just saw it off my peripheral. I'm gonna get his hand.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna just lean or step back a half step. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then the thing is, you have to do that and strike at the same time, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, so flight time, there's no way that stuff's coming to you.
Mang Romy said it best, and I'm pretty sure this is from Tatang too and Master Tony. We're pre-wired at birth to flinch, right? So somebody jumps at you. Yeah, you're walking down a hallway or down an alleyway, and somebody jumps out of a corner. The first thing you're gonna do is hands come up, you step back. Totally. Right? So why not, instead of doing that, which is purely defensive, strike? Right? So if you strike as you back out, you're counter striking. So in boxing, a counter strike, well, a standard boxing counter strike is to slip then come back, make them miss, make them pay. But if you can make them miss and pay simultaneously, that is it, and that comes from timing. And the only way you can work on timing is not by yourself. That's
what I mean. Yeah, you have to get in there and have somebody.
You've got to spar, right?
100%. Yeah, right. That's what I'm alluding to. It's like So
and when we get ready for week half type matches, I'll train my guys more stick fighting instead of more like we'll concentrate on that, and we'll use our concepts and it worked pretty well.
That's great.
Good. And then of course when we're done, okay, let's get back to what our original programming, right? So but then it was really like again, the proof was in the pudding. There, we did really well. We would normally sweep. I'm a bit proud. I'm very proud of my.
That's awesome.
My athletes, but we were pretty good. Yeah, and they continue to train. So to this day, they're still training.
And then this is where you're periodically kind of stopping by and everything.
Oh yeah, well, we meet up every Tuesday night, and we'll usually just do it's also called sparring. If the 12 strikes, do it in order, and then you randomize it. But now you start going contra, you're going to counter instead of just you're going to come back with something, and he's going to come back with something. So that's kind of like sparring in a sense without actually whacking somebody with a sword. Right. Sure. And you can see that, especially with Master Tony and Peachy's videos there when they go back and forth with their thousand. But it's really ironic too. Like, Arnold, I have to say, Arnold is somebody else. Like, he is the real deal. Incredible. His footwork, of course, is immaculate, but his striking, like when he does the other beast, he's cutting. He's not just coming up with a stick. He's gonna slice back. But aside from that, what he does really well is as a feeder. And it's said that the feeder, Vico has also told me this, is when you're feeding, you're actually in control, right? So you're making somebody move the way where you want them to go. It's not like you're just making him hit you, like you're not making him miss, making them counter you and stuff like that. You're actually controlling what his next move is going to be, so you can predict what's going to come up, right? So, so at one time I was at Luneta with Arnold, and we were doing Dikita, the close range stuff, where he was feeding me, and he was moving me around, and then he kind of put me in between like a spot where I couldn't really move between benches or something like that, and a bench just in a bush. And I was going, Arnold, what's going on? He goes, somebody back there's videotaping us. I don't want to see. So he actually,
Oh, so he redirected you. I
yeah.
got
So he redirected me by his feeding,
okay.
and I'm like, holy crap! Like, yeah. So that's the kind of mastery you'll get from, from putting in your flight time, right?
Oh my God. I totally agree with you. I mean, it's you can't just rely on memorization, man. Like, okay, yeah,
No.
you know the comp, man, but if you don't put the time in, like I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, and like that visit to the Philippines was something else. I got to meet some really
Yeah, I
talented
bet. I
fighters.
know. I got it's
Bruce
like on a
Pimentel, he's another one who's also a champion.
who's that now? I'm sorry.
Bruce Pimentel, you might want to interview him as well.
Oh, that
Another
name. Okay,
solid kid
that
guy.
name's come up.
Yeah, he runs a KI school somewhere back home, but I'd have to look that up where he's at. But another really good fighter.
Bruce. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard that name before.
yeah.
Okay.
He's won a WECAF championship. Right. So, you look at some of the guys like Senator Miguel Zubiri.
I know. Right. You won
Yeah. That's another one that's won a world championship as well.
way back.
WECAFs.
Yeah, back in
Yeah.
the day, right?
So
Yeah.
it's not like, WECAF, there's validity to it. Like it is a
Yeah, I
sport.
don't knock it. You know what? I have no dog in the fight. If you like it and it
Yeah.
resonates with you, more power to
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
It doesn't affect me.
Hmm.
Like some people get really personal. Like, and I'm
I
like, are you kidding me? I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
it's like, yeah, you gotta get some real problems, man. If that's what
Oh,
really
I know. I know.
But Guru Louie from
Oh boy.
Vancouver. We
I
got Chris
love
Hubbard. Hey. Dan, hey Dan, I saw you posted a YouTube link. I don't see who it's from, no, or what it's about. If you wouldn't mind, maybe just mentioning that. And we got Joe. Sign me up. See you Tuesday.
Bring the scotch, Joe. Don't drink and drive.
Oh, that's funny, man. So let's get to your school. So
Yeah.
obviously, it's about the Chinese. All right. Oh, thanks, Dan. Oh, he put a link about the Chinese stone lock.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, check it out.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's really something else.
When you're teaching, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when you open up your school down to present day, it sounds like you got I mean, you're putting a bunch of different stuff in there, I'm guessing. So what do you is that the case? I mean, you're teaching weapons?
You get bored of certain things, right? Like, not that I ever get bored of what of you learn, but you wanna spread out a bit, right? So most people come to us and they want to get into shape, which is excellent. You can do boxing, Muay Thai for that or whatnot. But then they start to get to the next step, which is like, okay, I want to maybe fight a bit or at least spar and see how it works, right? Not for everybody, but that's where it's at. And now it's kind of funny because I've been doing a lot of firearms training, and I'm a firearms licensing instructor, because here in Canada you'd have to have a license to be able to buy a gun.
No,
and it's not like just a one night course or anything like that. It's 2 days or 3 nights or so, and you put in a lot of time, and you have to pass the exams with flying colors and prove that you're safe. So I it's kind of funny, but most of my Cali guys are shooters now too. And
they picked that up as well.
Yeah. So because again, firearms to me it's not just a tool. It's just like a sword, right? It's another thing you have to master, and there's a lot involved in the fundamentals of shooting well, and that could also be incorporated into like we've done a few things where or Paulo's shown a few things with Jared Wongi. 200 Jared, right? And got a really solid background in firearms, and he's incorporated a bit of footwork into it from Pikiti, which is awesome, right? Like, so
it
goes hand in hand, right? So so it's kind of funny because I'm evolving, my students are evolving, and they're evolving in their own ways too, right? Some of them still want to work with may want to just work with knife. Some of them might want to work with sword and dagger, or double sword. Everybody's got their preferences, but they want to push the envelope a bit and try different things. So
I think it's great that you expose them, like you under one roof. I mean, you're giving
Yeah,
them empty hand. You're giving them weapons. You're now in
yeah,
gun. I mean, that's
yeah.
incredible.
Guns, well,
Under one
guns
roof.
have to be respected, right? They're very
Yeah.
powerful, but at the same time, it's not like The Walking Dead, where a little Carl shooting a zombie at 50 meters with one hand. It's not like that, right? So it's difficult.
Oh
So
man.
when they come to the range and they try it out and they see, wow, you know, handguns are not that easy, and they end up really
Yeah.
getting sucked into it like I am, and yeah, that's it. So that same martial discipline that they had in martial arts really transfers well. And now I find I busy. I'm teaching almost 6 7 days a week these
Is
courses.
that right?
Yeah, no, it's nuts because
Just
of
in
COVID.
firearms training.
That's in firearms licensing. People want to get their gun license, and a lot of them are martial artists from other schools that have now come to the uh, to believe that, yeah, I should learn how to use a gun, right?
Yeah,
And in order to get a
yeah,
gun, you got to get licensed. But Paulo said it well. Paulo Rubio, he said it well. Like it was really difficult to get the two factions together: martial artists on this side, and then you get the tactical guys, the shooters on the other
yeah.
side. The shooters say, "I don't need a martial art; I got a gun."
I know.
And the other guys say, "Well, that's the martial artists go, yeah, that doesn't take any skill, but it's coming together." And more and more, I see it happening. Like one of my colleagues, Mark Kopak, he's a top IPSC shooter. He became a master level in IPSC competitive action shooting in a few years. I think it only took him 3 years, but it's only because of his martial discipline. He started off in Muay Thai.
And
So
yeah, but he knew that like he had the discipline of
yeah,
repetition,
exactly.
practice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dry fire training at home, putting your time in at the range as well. Flight time, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
But he went into it hard, and it showed. But I think now, like I'm getting more, like the vast majority of the people I'm teaching or licensing are or helping get licensed are former or actual martial arts gym owners. Uh, one fellow, Joe Valtellini, Bazooka Joe Valtellini, a former Glory World Champion, kickboxing championship, is an avid shooter now, and we often shoot together. So
That's
it's nice
awesome.
to see. Yeah, and to them, it's like, wow, this is totally new, and this is hard. This is like
It's funny.
learning Muay Thai all over again, right?
Yeah, everybody tells me, "Hey, man, get your license before they make
Yeah.
it more difficult and all that." And it's something
Well, the
I
times are a little
thought,
different now, right? So, and at the
yeah,
same time, we're not. No, I don't want to talk about gunfighting and stuff like that or whatnot. But it's you got to teach them safety first and foremost, right? It's just
oh
like
yeah, I mean, just the overall responsibility.
yeah,
My God.
yeah. We're not going to spar with live blades, so
Yeah, yeah,
you got to find another way. But like same with firearms, you got to respect it. You don't point the gun at whatever you don't want to shoot.
yeah.
And
No, my
no trigger,
gosh.
finger off the trigger, all kinds of stuff.
I just
But
remember and I know you keep it locked up, it is safe,
yeah,
but just having it in the house, I
but
think
yeah, not
it
even
was
as
just sleepless nights. I
yeah,
mean,
but not even just for combative purposes, but just to be able to hit your mark on target. That the skills of marksmanship take a lot of
oh my
time,
gosh, there's nobody. I
and
mean, I have full respect and
yeah,
admiration for those who are incredibly good at it. They
yeah,
put their time in.
yeah. They
You
say
know,
just like talk about flight time again. Back when
and,
Camp Perry probably still has the national match, where they would the pistol shooters there they say would be standing neck deep in grass with all the training they do. So yeah, that like empty shells,
yeah,
right?
think
So
about that. Like all
it's
the
just
right,
a
the
ton of
shells, right?
repetition. Yeah. So it's all
Yeah.
it's very martial arts oriented. It's the same thing, I find. And yeah,
No,
and,
no, no.
and
I mean, like you're training it, you're
mhm,
refining. I mean, everything. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And
It's
there's a
wow.
lot of
That's fascinating.
yeah, you get into the what I'm intrigued with is figuring out what the problem is, right? So why am I
Mm.
pushing my shots to the left or pulling my shots to the right? Is yeah, because my trigger finger's not on properly on the trigger on that firearm for me.
So
So
if it's
things
a
like
little
that, the
skewed
diagnostics, right?
as far as the directionality goes, if it's a little skewed, like your
Hmm.
initial placement,
Oh yeah. Oh, your trigger pull is huge. It's gigantic.
okay.
And the
See,
fundamentals for
I'll show you.
firearms
I don't know.
shooting, yeah, yeah. So and then what I tell people is, if you can shoot a Glock well, you could shoot anything well. So
Mm.
because you've only got the two hands out instead of having a rifle with the butt stock on you and contact as well, and a wider base in a sense with your hands. But yeah, the same principles of of trigger control, sight picture, even breathing and stance. That's
all in
goes
there, right?
goes from handguns all the way up to precision rifles or sniper rifles, right? So
Yeah, it's something we got more
it's
folks jumping
it's
in.
again, don't do it unless you have the time.
No,
Right?
no,
It's,
no. But I mean,
sucking.
it's something that I've honestly like have thought on and all
Yeah.
that. We got Joe.
But if
Hey,
you ever come up here, I'd gladly take you out to the range.
oh my God, I would love that. Here we got Joe. Oh my God, recap is like blue to Sopornoi, but it's not for everyone. I'll bring
Balut.
scotch and blue.
You know what balut is, I suppose you did. Yeah,
I
Joe
tell you, he
is
walks in your door, man. You forget about
Joe's
anybody paying
awesome.
attention in class, man. Your class
Yeah,
is done.
no, Joe's amazing. He's such a
Oh, here we got
awesome
Coach
person.
Coach Arnold. Nice
Ah,
to see you here, brother Archie Lewis. Congrats. Thank you for mentioning me. Hope to see you
oh my God,
again.
he is something else. He is. Yeah, if there was a rank, he would be past grandmaster. I honestly think I
Yeah,
would say that.
no, nothing but
And the thing about these guys is they've been in real fights. They've been in fights with knives and they've been attacked by
oh
knives.
yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
no. I mean, nothing but great stuff.
yeah.
Oh,
Really,
we got Alex. Hey, Alex. We got Joe.
Alex
Yes,
Harrison.
Firearms.
Oh,
Archie's great at that. He brought me and my kids through some. All right. And we got KC.
oh, Kenneth. Yeah,
Yeah, I
you got to
know.
get him in. You got to get him on.
I'm trying. Matter of fact, I've tried to get
Yeah.
Alex respectfully
Oh, Alex. Yeah,
declined, but if he ever changes his mind, he's more than welcome.
yeah.
But KC, I wanted to get
Alex is.
KC and Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alex has come from all kinds of disciplines, and he's really settled in with.
Peloton, judo.
Yeah, but Alex is. I've had the chance to see him teaching in videos. Somebody was filming at one of his seminars. Amazing, like such an articulate instructor. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I saw he
you
was
know,
showing some stuff, long and short off the 12 count.
yeah,
I thought it was well. Yeah.
yeah. See,
Hey,
everybody
we
teaches
got Coach
differently,
Danny
right?
Durrell. And so, all right. So
Yeah.
okay. So we got to that. What um, as I say, you have extensive empty hand, like
Mhm.
Western, whether it be Western boxing or Thai boxing.
Yeah.
Has that helped you better embracing or not just an embracement of it, but also the execution of FMA empty hand, whether you want to call it Panatukan or whatever
Sure.
name,
Yeah.
whatever nomenclature you want to use,
Yeah.
but has it, with that background, did that make it easier to apply some of that stuff?
I think. Okay, so put it this way: I think if you have a background in anything, as long as you've got some sort of mastery in it, meaning that you put the time in and you've got, understand it well, you'll probably pick up almost anything easily,
But
right?
you had have
But
you done a lot of the FMA empty hand? I'm assuming. Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Oh, the great thing about my guys is they'll go like, okay, we got to learn how to kickbox. You got to learn how to throw knees and elbows and stuff like that. So at some point, like we don't have a set curriculum. That's the problem with our group, because when a newcomer comes in, like, okay, you're going to learn the 12 sites of Ilustrisimo, and you're going to put them through the standard Putai Daga defenses and stuff like that, which is the start, right? But my guys, the more advanced guys, so like some days will just like want to learn how to throw an elbow or a knee better. And yeah, so it's nice because you see them moving from different disciplines and realizing, quite a few of them got into BJJ. We had a fantastic grappling instructor, Val Ostinov, former Russian Soviet. He was actually in the military but was a combat and sports sambo.
Sambo
Yeah,
is excellent.
this
Sambo.
guy was something else. But and then he was another one that was able to incorporate his wrestling into his jiu-jitsu, which really exalted him. Like he's at another level. But yeah, I think the thing is you can't just hold yourself into something, right? You can't say that, like that's boxing is your life. Well, you can, but it's good to stretch it out a bit. Like I find from my boxing perspective, I can use the power of a strike, right? But you have to modify it because in Ilustrisimo, say a boxer will start his punch off his back toe, right? Goes up his leg and then goes through his hips, of course,
The
and
whole
then
kinetic flow into
yeah.
Yeah.
But in Ilustrisimo, it comes from the center, like things like lutang or
Right, because of the
yeah,
position adjustment, maybe, and then
yeah,
you have to strike off
yeah,
that adjustment. I
yeah.
got you.
So it is actually faster, right, to be able to go off the center instead of going from the toe all the way up. So it is pretty ingenious, and
Actually, that's interesting. Wow, I never thought that way. Right, if
yeah,
you're coming from center and you're not
yeah,
focusing on the rear,
that's right. Yeah, especially if you use something like lutang or what's it called? Oh my God, I've been saying all night.
the Dorada.
Retirada, yeah, retirada
Mhm.
anglo, especially, right? And man, if you ever get a chance to see Arnold, oh boy, like there are some videos of him where he'll use his footwork and you'll see the power he generates. It's incredible,
Mm.
and the speed and the precision he throws with. Oh, like, I'm extremely lucky to call him a friend or a brother, really. But
Mm.
yeah, he is something else, and yeah, again, I think, yeah, boxing helped me by learning how to make that. Actually, in anything, I use more illustration into the boxing. So when we throw now, of course, we'll throw with power too, but we'll try to start with the hips because it's actually now you're hiding the strike. It's not telegraphed, right? So
Interesting.
Master
Right. So
told
in
me,
other words, like,
yeah,
why not? Why beat the feet
Master,
pivots?
Master Tony
Just run
told me
hips.
about. Sorry, Master Tony told me about an old boxer,
Yeah.
and back in the day, they wouldn't even look at the hands; they would look at the feet, and they could tell what strike was coming, which punch. If it was the left hook, they'd have the left foot angled in. If you look at
Right.
Felix Trinidad, that's how he fights, and his left hook is everything. You will watch a back foot move; it's going to be a cross, right? So really, like this came from
But you just hit that. But
Mhm.
here's the thing too, when I had my boxing coach, one of the things he gave me is like cheat on your left hook. Said like don't even worry about pivoting your foot, just throw the hip because your
Exactly.
foot's gonna follow. I
There you
mean, unless
go.
you want to break your
Yeah,
ankle. I
which
mean,
which is
fine.
actually a shorter, more compact left hook. That
Absolutely.
yeah, and
But
those are the ones that knock out.
right. And
Yeah.
what I'm getting to is though why so what you just touched upon, well, okay, I'm gonna hang step. I'm
Yeah,
gonna come back now with the cross. I'm just gonna throw
yeah,
my hips.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
So
How
instead of
fascinating.
using, yeah, and guys like Pacquiao were really good with their footwork because they were, he wasn't he wasn't just he would launch his whole body and
Oh
off
my
his feet.
gosh.
It was
Oh
something
yeah,
else,
like a
right? So
bazooka for that left
yeah,
hand.
but he took advantage of his speed and strength, and he fought much bigger guys, and you would fight them, you know, in and out. Like
Morales, ask Morales, Pereira, and
yeah, and then even like Margarito.
Marquez.
Margarito was a giant in comparison, but
Mhm.
Pacquiao was fighting on the outside, getting in, getting out, in and out, and he left him beat him into a bloody pulp, right?
I
So
know, I
yeah,
know.
but yeah, footwork is everything, and I have to say that's the one when Guru Ramon taught me bakbakan, his bakbakan stuff. It was footwork, footwork, footwork,
Oh, he was
footwork.
heavily on.
Oh, it's so important. And then even then we incorporated that into the boxing and we did quite well. Yeah. But
Wow,
mhm.
man, and you are are you in Vancouver or
No,
outskirts
I'm in Toronto. I'm
or
the
Toronto? I'm sorry,
opposite side.
no, Vancouver's out there. I'm
Yeah.
in Toronto. Yeah,
Yeah.
apologies.
I'm in Toronto. Well, actually, I live outside of Toronto now. I'm east of the city. I'm in Cobourg, a small town. I'm actually going to be moving a couple more weeks from now, even further northeast. We'll be living in the country. I'll be dealing with septic tanks and wood burning stoves and
Oh,
wells. Yeah.
that's you'll be living me.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, we
Awesome.
have we don't have city septic and all that,
Nice.
and
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so you're in the more rural area
Oh,
then?
100%. Like if I look out my windows, I cannot see my neighbors.
I
You
love
know.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I
As
mean,
much
it
as I
it
like people,
definitely.
yeah, I'm I'm not for manicured lawns, and
Yeah, yeah,
I'm an outdoorsman. I like being outdoors, and
yeah. The
I,
wildlife. We got bears, deer,
wow,
you name.
wow,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's
wow,
bears that go through our yard. I mean, it's
really? Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh no, no. But I mean, it has its pros and all that. And the
Yeah.
septic, the water is really good because it's
Uh-huh.
well.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah. Yeah, looking forward to it. I know it's going to be more work, but I want it, right? And it's
Yeah.
yeah, you got to like you can't just turn on the faucet and expect it to be perfect. You got to, things like that. Wells dry out sometimes, right? So
Yeah, it's when the power goes out.
Yeah,
That's fun
that's
because then
yeah.
you're red. So we got a
Yeah,
generator. But
totally
yeah, but I mean,
opposite.
I wouldn't trade it. But if you want for us to go get things, I mean, like you're definitely going to the next town.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah. How
it's
far
not
is
the
that for you?
worst. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How long is it? How long is the drive to the next town for you? The closest town?
Uh, 20 minutes. It's not
Oh, it's not
bad.
bad. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
That's
so
about like the
there's
same for me.
Bear,
Well, over there. Yeah.
Joe again, man. This guy.
Joe.
Dean, Bears, Deer supermarket just outside your door. Joe, when I see the black bears coming across, I just let them say,
Oh
it's
yeah.
all yours.
Yeah, leave them alone, especially if it's a sour Cubs. Uh-uh.
I tend not
That's
to get in the way.
yeah.
Apollo's here. Team Canada.
Ah,
Yeah, Team Canada
it's
for
the man.
sure. FMA. You
Yeah.
know what's funny by doing these interviews?
Uh-huh.
Of course, I always knew about Tom Dye being in Vancouver and
Yeah.
Canada and all that, but I didn't realize the extent of the FMA in Canada. I'm like really impressed.
Well,
I think
yeah.
it's like you guys have such great
Yeah. Yeah,
people.
we have like it's incredible. Like the late master Fred Garcia, who I mentioned yesterday, was a Yao Yan master and incredible.
Yeah.
His brother is in the Philippines still, Master Boy Garcia, who's also an Ilustrisimo guy, but I can't remember what his record's something crazy like
No,
400.
I had him on here. It was ridiculous.
Oh, he
Yeah.
did? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, and Master Fred, sorry, when his daughter had been training with us as well in kickboxing, a fantastic girl. Yeah. Oh, God. So we're pretty lucky. I guess,
I think so.
yeah, we don't
I
have
definitely
beaches.
like. I mean, just through the interviews. I mean, you guys got like it's
Yeah.
fantastic. Matter of fact, I wish things weren't so because I really want to go to Toronto.
See, when I
Um,
first met Paolo, he was kind of like because he was doing a lot of work with guys in the States and in
mm,
Europe and whatnot, and he was almost everywhere but Canada. And then he started to set his roots back here, and then he started to dig around, and oh,
I
lo and
know
behold, he found
you
it
guys got like
himself.
a gold
Yeah,
mine up there.
yeah. And Paolo is actually quite a practitioner. Like they have their group called the Boudoir, which is
Yeah, yeah, I had them on. I had their,
that's right. Yeah, I
they're all
missed.
on there.
I keep
Joe,
missing these things.
Joe is on there.
Yeah.
Justin, who's here.
Okay.
Steve,
Yeah.
the whole
Oh
crew,
wow.
man.
Yeah. Steve Demano's another
Oh,
one.
I really like him, man. He's a
Yeah.
guy. You know what? He's a guy. I would just like hit it off with. I just
Yeah.
like his approach, his
Yeah.
calm
He's
demeanor.
yeah. Exactly. Oh, he's a killer.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
like
the yeah, it's interesting. But now the thing is, we're starting to come together more, and thank God for guys like Paulo and Joe host some really good get-togethers where all these
mm,
different systems come together, and it's
I wouldn't be able. If Joe was there, I wouldn't be able to train. I think I'd be too busy laughing. Joe would be so
oh, Joe,
distractive to me in a good
he's
way. Like
yeah.
he's
Oh,
just
that's his technique. He'll make you laugh, and then he'll cut you.
yeah. Oh,
Watch
hey,
out.
Dean, I want to show you something, and then a couple
Yeah.
jokes, and
Well,
then
after a
before you know,
few,
I'm getting annihilated. What he's trying to
yeah.
show
Well,
me
he'll
is I
he'll
can't
give you a lot of scotch
concentrate.
first, and then that's it. Yeah.
That guy's man. That guy's funny.
Yeah.
Want to make sure I'm not missing it. Hold on there. Cool. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions. Yeah. All right. No questions. All right. Here's what I got. Okay.
Okay.
So what do you Dean? You'd be drinking with this in game?
Joe again.
No, I've been going to gym. I go to gym 4 times a week, so I do not get fat. The drinking, you might get me there. Depending on what it is, though. All right, so yeah, we were kind of on the FMA empty hand. What are your thoughts on it? Like, the only reason why I'm asking this is there obviously on FMA discussion. There's been some kind of back and forth on is it pure the Ceylon influence?
I see.
Is it a
Wow.
Western
Okay.
creation? This, that, and the other
Yeah,
thing.
that's the thing again. Like Filipinos are not. We're comprised of a bunch of different races, right? So if you say, "Oh, that guy's pure Filipino," you sure? Like he could be a little bit more Malay, he could be a little bit
A
more
little more
Chinese.
Spanish.
Yeah, and that's exactly how our culture is, right? So even our language it's a mixture of Spanish, but you'll have a lot of Malay in it too. But yeah, So the empty hand stuff, yeah, it could come from some kung fu elements, or it can come from silat, a lot of silat.
I think so. From what I've
Yeah.
seen,
Oh
I
yeah.
think. I mean, I'm not saying I know for absolutely
Yeah.
sure, but I see the C line.
But it's really smart stuff because you're not hitting with your knuckles per se. Because like one really good story that I've heard is a couple of deep cover police officers that were in infiltrating bike gangs were in a bar and they got discovered and they had to fight for their lives. They were just basically punching anyone that was in front of them. And then when they went to draw their guns, their hands were broken. So, it makes you think, right? So,
Yeah, yeah. You'd be
when,
throwing bombs out there with
yeah.
you
And
know.
even there's another great practitioner of our system, Brenton Welford. Arnold knows him really well. And he was up in Bukidnon with us as well. He at the time we would always have our dinner and then we'd go out and we'd just experiment as well, talk about stuff. And I was like this really proud boxer, right? I came in and everybody knew me as a boxer, and I would say, yeah, no, just punch, and then you knock the guy out, and you'll knock, but so he came to visit Toronto for business, and we were having a beer at the airport, and he asked me, so what do you do now for like so? What do you do what in this situation? I said, oh, I wouldn't punch him. He goes, what? You're the one that was saying all along that punching is it. Like, and I was thinking, I said, I changed my mind because I started thinking about it that, these are not really, when you punch somebody with gloves, not a problem, right? You look at bare knuckle boxers and stuff like that. They're not really trying to punch full power because they know their hands are going to get wrecked. And it's just psychological, right? You can put on a boxing glove and you'll punch something as hard as you can, with good wraps and whatnot, without fear of damaging them, fear of damaging your knuckles, that is. But yeah, so it's a lot. Panantukan, a lot of it is bolo punches, right? So using the forearm, elbows, and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of knuckle type punching. Well, there are places you can punch, like the solar
I think
plexus.
the knuckle punches, I'm almost positive came from the West.
Yeah, Western boxing for sure.
No, but formed over here. So in other words, I think a lot of what you're seeing today in Pontukin was formed here in the
Here,
States.
and yeah, that's true. Well, it's true.
Yeah.
Look at the giants of FMA in North America, Guro Dan and Santo. Like, wow, like
And
we've got in
look at the
Stockton.
offshoot of Guru
Yeah,
Dan.
yeah,
Burton, Steve
yeah,
Brody,
yeah.
Dwight
hmm
Woods.
Incredible, yeah,
Balicki.
yeah.
I mean, it just
Oh,
goes on and on,
yeah. So yeah, it's quite true. Like FMA is evolving, right? It
Yeah.
should. It really should. I know there are a lot of people out there that are proponents of the tradition, which should be upheld. Of course, there's got to be a lot of respect for it, but it's also, tradition. If you look at the tradition of a human being, we evolve, right? Not to say that we're going to get better than the past. You definitely can't, but no, things change, right? So we're not. Some of the things I had to think about when I was in the Philippines was, okay, now this counter, would that work against a 300-pound solid dude?
Guy then from the States who's like not having a good day,
Yeah, exactly. So that
Yeah.
changes a lot of things. You've got to again, you got to evolve, right? So
I think so. Yeah.
yeah,
I think, yeah. We got to let's make sure some other stuff. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any
sure thing. Yeah.
questions. Oh, we do got a question from Paulo. Can you talk to us about how FMA concepts and tactics lend itself to functional firearm works?
Ah,
That's a good question.
good one. Yeah. Let's see. What I like to think about. Okay, so I like to think of puntay daga, or we call it puntay daga, which is a rapier and dagger, espada daga. Both hands are working, right? You have one concept is one hand's doing something different than the other, right?
Yeah.
So in a situation like you're dealing with somebody that's really close. Now this is a bit more on the tactical side of things, and you have to create space because a gun's not that good at close quarters, right? That extreme close quarters. So puntay daga teaches you how you'll parry and cut or block and stab or whatnot, right? But here in what you want to think about is on the draw, both hands move, right? So But what you'll do though in that situation, you're going to create that space, right? So you push out
Oh,
and
you
then
can
you drop.
post on them, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So one goes out and one comes back, right?
okay.
So you're using your left hand to create space or strike the eye or whatever is necessary to create that space that's back out, and then you better bring that hand back or you're going to shoot your hand, right? So
Mhm.
kind of that's one way. There's so many, man. Paulo, you threw me a hard one. There's
Yeah,
quite a
but
few.
I think that was a great analogy.
X,
Punta Daga, the short and
yeah,
long. I mean,
yeah, yeah. You have two different weapons, right? And in the sense of in tactical or shooting in particular, yeah, you have both hands, right? So you have to be, in the shooting sports, you have to be good with both because sometimes you're going to be shooting strong hand, sometimes you're going to be shooting weak hand, um, but being able to implement the two, that's something else, right? So
yeah, they got to be coordinated, right?
yeah, oh yeah, the coordination of that you develop from things like Sinawali, for example, that's next level stuff, right? So yeah, I saw TED Talks. I'm sure you've seen it where the gentleman was dealing with somebody um, who had motor issues, and the second he started teaching him, like
Oh, I
nerves
know
or
who
having
exactly you're talking
six,
about. I had
yeah,
him on. It
he was
was
able to walk.
cognitive colleague, cognitive.
That's it. That's it. That
Yeah, and
was
that was good
amazing.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, if you want to get into like Paulo's an excellent example. Here's a guy that's dealt with a bunch of tactical guys, like former Navy SEALs, former this and that, like real operators, but articulate ones as well that could talk and that could teach,
Mm,
that walk the walk. But he also like we're now talking about the tactical side where everybody's like all about reality. This is
yeah.
that's not going to work. That's But
Yeah.
Paulo's the kind of guy that will get into the art, right? So which is nice because, well, that's what a martial art is. You got the martial and the art, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so you have to, you can't just say no, that stuff's crap. That's just too flowery. If maybe if you're walking a
Yeah,
beat or
I think
close to that,
you have to give it at least a lens. You got to give it. You got to at least
yeah,
investigate it, and before you could just
exactly,
make a judgment. I know we're very quick in this community to judge.
yeah, yeah. Oh
And that's you
God.
see it. I mean, you see it all the time in some of the forums, and it's just like
Yeah. Oh, we're so divided. It's such a shame.
I know. Yeah, but it's getting. I feel it's getting better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's like at an all-time high, but
Well,
I
I think yeah,
feel
the media portrays it as really, but yeah, when you're in your own community and you get to see other people, and you see it's not too bad, right? But
yeah.
yeah.
But you depending on the forum you're part of, though, it can get pretty.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Forums are yeah. A lot of keyboard martial artists, right?
Yeah,
Keyboard.
and not FMA discussion, man. We don't allow that. I mean, that's if I wanted to be like everybody else, I would let it be a free for all. The whole
Oh
thing,
yeah.
it's like, no, I'm not going to be the norm. I don't care what they
No.
say about me. I don't care if they say I'm anal
Right.
retentive. I don't freaking care. I'm not
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
the norm.
That's your show,
You don't
brother.
like
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
You don't have to stay.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Good for you.
So, but I just want to make sure. I think I might have. This is excellent, by the way. I'm so glad you came on.
Oh
Can we
man.
work this out?
Yeah.
I do
Same here.
wish.
It's an honor.
Oh my gosh, the honor's mine. Okay. Joe did ask this. So Joe is asking, do you use kettlebell with your colleague athletes, Archie?
Yep. Yep. So getting into week off, you have to be physical, right? It's definitely like when I was getting ready for Dr. Tim Hartman's events in Buffalo, the second time we went, my guys realized, oh crap, I was getting breathless. I was gassing. So I would implement kettlebells. I would do a lot of anaerobic stuff too. I'd make them do
Hmm.
sprint circuits and stuff like that. And boy, when we showed. So yeah, oh
Let's actually
definitely.
do that. Like you supplement their training. Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I always say that the kettlebell has been my secret weapon with all the other fighters as well, because it helps cut down the time it takes to do your conditioning, and we can focus more on the techniques and the skill building, right? So
Oh, fascinating.
yeah.
Oh
So
wow.
instead of doing
Yeah.
the
Okay.
2 hour road work, we could cut it down a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I know. We just want to make sure we got. Oh, um, I think Joe and Paulo, they're going to be visiting you soon. They can't do it tomorrow because it's Paulo's anniversary. Oh, happy
I'm working
anniversary.
tomorrow, you guys. Holy crap.
Oh, he's
That's
okay.
a lots of
You're
time.
working tomorrow.
That's
D
why
for
I can't hang out
CAO.
with them.
Oh my God. No, no, Paulo. You're CAO of FMA. You made a joke. So Dean for CAO of FMA.
See, we need the man. See the
Yeah,
fact the
Jason
comic
Wu.
relief is so necessary because everybody gets so serious, right? Yeah, we're talking about deadly arts. We're talking about like
I
stabbing
know, you
somebody in the
man.
neck
You
or
going?
whatever, right? But yeah,
You
we
gotta be
gotta. You can't.
lighthearted, right? I mean,
Yeah,
if you
we
constantly
got.
think about the gore and like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that can't be mentally healthy, right?
yeah. No,
you
not at all. That's so hard.
know, I know, like you get some of these guys, they take it so serious, like
Hmm.
tactical this and the camouflage and
Yeah,
if that's
yeah.
their thing, it
You know,
doesn't
go
bother
for it.
me.
Yeah, nothing
But
wrong
when
with
those
that.
are the ones that sometimes, like, what do you mean that, and those are the ones that are like the whole
Yeah,
gear and the outfits, like the
yeah.
whole alpha
But the funny
male.
thing is, I bet you if you met them in person, it wouldn't be so bad, right? So like a lot of this is like we spoke about it yesterday. A lot of why everything's so fractured is because it's hearsay. You're like one master
Yeah, you're hearing
heard
it
this
like
from some guy, and this guy said this, but
three.
maybe that guy didn't even mean it like that. Or
Well, it's like three times removed. You're
yeah,
getting it, and then because you're affiliated with this camp, you have to, raise the, rise the
yeah,
flag,
yeah. You, of course,
and you don't
you have
even,
to
you wouldn't even
stand up for
know
your
these
tribe.
people. Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
yeah. But it's like it's funny. We've lost that human touch, right? And especially more so now.
Yeah,
But it's nice to be able to do this at least. But
I
it's also
know.
helped,
I
like you
know.
said, it's broken some of the barriers
I think
where you
so.
can actually see somebody and train with somebody from halfway across the world.
Yeah,
So
like I think COVID, like just I think like for instance with COVID,
mhm.
like I saw just via social media and more particularly in the group, like
Yeah,
we were seeing a lot of people do online training that maybe perhaps if there was this situation, they would
hmm
never venture over there,
hmm
but like, oh well, I got time to kill, maybe I'll check this out. You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And I think that helped with some crossing the lines that maybe wouldn't have not have happened.
exactly. Yeah. Oh,
So
for
I think
sure.
that's
Like,
good. Expose
yeah,
yourself to,
yeah.
like I never could stay in one. Right now, like this is the longest I've stayed in one lane. Okay,
Really.
I was freaking all over the place. Like,
Uh huh. Oh,
good,
interesting. Good to hear.
yeah, good, bad, or indifferent. But
Uh,
now, like I don't know if it's maturity or found what you're looking for. You're grounded. I don't know.
well,
All
yeah,
the
I'm pretty
above.
sure what you've learned from the other systems you're incorporating into your KI,
Yeah,
which
like
is
oh
what
yeah,
it's
it was
about.
definitely a
That's
value.
yeah,
Like I don't look back and say like, oh man, I wasted all
yeah,
that time and years and money and no, yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean. The
Oh
experience
yeah.
alone,
Like even
people.
look at the people in KI, like Master Tupper. He was Kung Fu Sifu, right? He was a master of a few systems before he got into KI. Guys like Boy Garcia, an immaculate kickboxer, pro kickboxer, and another KI guy. Um, there's a master. Oh my God, don't Regino is his last name. He just passed away too. A brilliant man. Like he would feed you and have a boxing glove on the other hand, and yeah, we whack it.
Oh, who's the guy? GM Martin.
Martin, yes,
Oh, he
Grandmaster Martin.
passed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, like then those were the guys that you'd see at Luneto or Binondo
Back in the
or
day, that'd be amazing. Like you go in
yeah,
that park and you're just seeing all these legends in their
yeah.
respective
Oh, it's
camps.
something else. My God.
I tell you, I'd be lost. I'd be like
Yeah.
over here,
Oh, yeah, it's so amazing. Yeah, yeah. And
And
every Sunday,
I
we do.
know, I know. God,
It was like a
what a
who's
treat
who.
that must have been, huh?
GM Henry Esperos over here. We got GM Riddell Dagook over there, and
Yeah, with the minor
Jesus.
knees, and
Yeah.
then I'm
So
sure you had some Dose Paris
yeah. Oh
somewhere.
yeah. There was pretty much every single style you could think of there,
I
and
gotta go to
nobody.
work. Oh, Joe's got to leave. I got to go to work for now. Been great listening to this interview. Archie definitely will touch base. You're going to be seeing him, man. I'm
Oh
telling
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Your class will never be, it'll be never the same after.
No.
My
Awesome.
class has been forever compromised. Joe showed up. Oh, it's funny. So what are your future, what are your future goals for yourself and your students?
Good question. Who knows? I'm the worst planner. I have to say, like I just kind of roll with the punches, right? But who knows? Maybe get them more into, like, they're really enjoying the shooting. That's for sure. So we will do
Sounds like it.
some IPSC type shooting, and then we could start to incorporate some of the Kali stuff into that too, of course. Really don't know. Good question. It'd be nice. I like how a lot of the other FMA groups have like camps, like little workshops, but they're multiple days, right? Or at least a weekend. And I could host something like that where I'm moving to.
You definitely should with your background, what you have to offer. You should definitely be doing something like that.
Yeah, that'd be really something else.
You
Maria,
got from empty hands all the way to gun.
Yeah.
Like,
so we start incorporating everything, even archery, or even some conditioning stuff.
Archery is really fun. I do that. Archery is really fun.
Yeah. Oh, if you like that, then
I wish I would do it. I wish I had the time to do it more, but I definitely enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah. It takes another. Yeah, it's another thing that it will.
That's another thing too. You gotta reps, time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a good question. I really don't know yet. If you had asked me like a couple of years ago, are you going to be at the, I would have thought I was just going to be at the gym, but now I'm going from place to place, even gyms.
Yeah, because now you're teaching firearms.
Yeah, the licensing. Well, it's what pays the bills, right? And especially the hit the gyms took here with COVID, but so that's where I'm at now. But who knows? Like,
you're fine. I mean,
what I see is maybe the firearms guys will want to learn some Kali. How about that?
You should definitely like
get that cross going instead of the other way, right? So
basically, just short blade stuff for them to maybe.
Oh yeah, because again, they're going to be more practical, right? Something that they could carry on their belt and something that they normally see on the street. Not not going to be attacked by a rapier or a machete attacks are happening. But
a long broadsword.
Something concealable, right? So maybe that would be the next thing. We're talking. I've been talking with some other martial arts gym owners about putting together symposiums where we'll have a little bit of blade combat or
you should
defense.
do that. I mean,
yeah,
at least try. You know what I mean?
Because it'll just like anything else. It'll open your eyes and we'll give you a little taste of this, a little taste of that. And they might
do something that people maybe really would enjoy that, but maybe just never expressed it because they didn't know who to ask or whatever.
Exactly. Like I taught a knife combat seminar at a French Krav Maga gym, and some of the students, and even though they lived quite a distance, ended up coming to train with us for a bit because they go, oh boy, okay, this knife stuff is
this is about, right? Expose them and right. Oh, we got another question. What training apparatus do you find most useful? Pendulum ball, tires, weighted sticks, hanging rope.
What was the first one?
The pendulum ball, like in other words, I have like a tennis ball.
I see.
For before, during, after, you try to target it.
They all have the place. Really not big on apparatuses, so I should really do that because a lot of solo training, right? When you hit a tire, it's also quite different than cutting something, because you get a rebound with a stick, which is quite different from using the blade. You had Sean Zergeron, who's a big proponent of Mongromi's training, where they use dulled machetes, but profiled down to be more like a fighting sword. And that's really nice because when you do, we would always use, start off with rattan sticks and then we moved on to kamagong, which isn't good for contact because they can shatter. And then we went to polymer swords, but didn't give you the same life of a steel blade, right? So when you do some of the defenses like like media fraile, for example, or what's it called? My God. This always happens to me. I'm like most Filipino martial arts.
Friday, media Friday.
Do this. But when you feel blade on blade, when you feel the deflection properly, it's like that sword sings, and it's magic. Like you really understand why that that technique works or that defensive maneuver works, right? So I can't say that I'm not nearly as inventive as guys like Paulo. Paulo, man, you should see what he does to his bob.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
he should be the spokesman for that
For
company.
the for anything, what you could do with your bomb.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, no, like weighted sticks are good, but again, it has a different feel, So, but it's probably good for training your wrists. I'd say you got to do it all, right? Because you're just basically like the tires. That's one thing. It'll help you with hitting full power and learning how to follow through or rebound and whatnot. Uh, the ball that's more for timing. That's more for accuracy. So you got to do a little bit of this. Like I'll do push-ups if I want better upper body strength. So I'll do
Mm.
squats if I want better leg strength. So, but you can't just do push-ups only. You got to do both to balance out, right? So I'd say yeah, all of the above.
I think
You got
all.
to
I
do.
agree with you. All of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. If it's
Accuracy with the tennis ball.
yeah,
You know what
like
I
this,
mean? The
we
rope,
can't say
maybe.
any of it is wrong. They all have their roles, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
agreed. No argument here. Uh, blade on blade sparring, nothing even comes close to the experience. It's a spiritual experience. That's Paulo referencing blade on blade.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's true. It's very true.
but still
And
going those edges,
yeah,
the clash. Yeah, it is a thrill. Like when you diminish, it is a
yeah,
thrill. I have to, even a
yeah.
dangerous thrill, but thrill
And
nonetheless.
it's like when you glance a blade properly, it you just see it fly. Like you don't get that with a stick because the sticks have a tendency to absorb, right?
Well, you get the
Or
bounce, yeah, or the bounce, right? But you like, assuming it's on the fly of the blade, like you said, that glide.
that's right. And yeah, so the whole concept of using the flat of the blade for defense gets lost sometimes with a stick or padded
I think
sticks.
it does. I think it's
Uh,
lost a lot. I mean, no fault of their own, but they're only doing
no,
stick. I
but
mean,
again, you're working something else too. So you
yeah,
might want to you don't want to go whacking each other hard with a dulled
those
sword.
machetes.
Yeah, no matter how dull it
yeah,
is, it's going to break something, right?
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this has been well. We're coming. Oh man, we're coming up in 2 hours. It's been.
Wow.
This has been awesome, though, man. This is.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on,
Oh,
and
my pleasure. My honor.
yeah. I'm so glad we worked this out and all
Yeah.
that.
Thanks for your patience. And I was scheduled a
Oh,
while back, but yeah,
oh, no
here we
worries,
are.
no worries. I'm glad it happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's well worth the wait. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, evidenced by the likes. How many people?
Yeah.
20 people, 22 people, excuse me, are currently watching. 29 likes, and the comments were so definitely well worth the wait.
They're all my friends. That's why.
Yeah, I all
Okay.
I all told them free lessons if they come to the gym. That's why Joe saying you have to come to the gym. Yeah, so what I do is I download it and I'll post it to your wall and you can
Oh,
share it to
awesome.
where I
Thank you. Yeah, I will.
share it about, but if there's some stuff I'm not really affiliated with some groups, you could
Yeah.
share,
Yeah.
also you share as well,
Uh-huh.
so but all right, definitely. Well, I appreciate you and thank you
Thank you,
again for
sir.
coming
I
on.
just want to end it with something because
Sure,
we've been
sure.
talking
Yeah, oh
about
please
all
do.
this violent stuff, and then this came from Vico, who I've that man is my brother. And when he ended the seminar, he said it like this, and this happened actually after like a major shooting at a school or somewhere, and it was tense, and we're dealing with like stabbing and slashing and whatnot. And he said, martial arts is about love, which is quite true. It's not about trying to kill the other guy. You're doing this to learn something to defend your life,
Your
most
loved ones
importantly,
too.
your loved ones.
Yeah.
Yes. So when he said, "Oh, that was deep," so yeah,
Yeah,
we'll end it with that at least. And that's how
he
he
can
ended
feel
the
some.
seminar, and that's resonated forever with me. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm a fan, obviously.
My journey is just meeting excellent people. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it is so true.
hope it
Like,
continues. Yeah,
I look, reflect on the people I've met. You know what I mean, or continue to meet.
yeah.
Like the list of people to meet in person keeps growing and
Oh,
growing.
I
A lot
can't.
of them are in Canada.
You got to come up. Well, we'll come
I
down to you.
know if they'll let me over. I know I do
Yeah,
have to.
yeah. It's
I
soon
do.
enough. I hope soon enough.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Well,
All
hey,
right. Yeah.
if I don't talk to you, have a happy holiday season and all
Same
that.
to you, Dean. Yeah. Thanks again for having me on, and yeah, what a great honor.
Absolutely. Well, you take care
Thanks
of
for all
yourself.
your work. Okay.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
We
I
need you.
know. I'm gonna
We need you, man.
keep plugging along.
Thank you, sir. All right, brother.
All right, you take care.
Yeah, you too.
Wow, that was excellent. Man, I had a feeling that was going to be a really good one. Just a guy that I just knew I would kind of gel with. Canada, man. Huh? God, they need to be more on the radar. So, what's coming up? Actually, I don't know when the next episode is because we're going into December and I got the list. But what I do know is the Christmas raffle. Sound like a broken record. However, though, it's all going to charity, helping kids in the Philippines. $5 a ticket. And if you look at some of the prizes that you could win for $5, potentially, I should say. So if you haven't done already, it's in the FMA discussion. It's on the pinned post there. And basically, again, $5 a ticket. Bram Frank donated 8 knives. There's a bunch of other great stuff in there. So check it out. And in the meantime, I will see you guys, I'm guessing at some point during the week. All right. Thank you all that watched, commented, and chimed in.